I mean, silver, I own silver, is down 60% from its all-time high. I mean, Adam, look out the window. What do we know that's down 60% from its all-time high? Very little. Sugar's down 70% from its all-time high. So in my view, and all of this money printing historically has led to higher prices for real goods. So in my view, we have a long way to go. The all-time high on silver is $50 an ounce. Now it's 23. So why can't silver go back to its all-time high? That's the way markets usually work. Eventually, things go back to where they were once upon a time. So I would suspect that we still have plenty of room to make money in commodities, especially agricultural commodities, going forward. Who knows? I don't know, but if you want to protect yourself, that's one way. I am protecting myself. I hope I'm getting it right. Agriculture is cheap, and many commodities are still cheap. Now, copper is making all-time highs. That's because it looks as though the world is going to become electrical cars, trucks, and everything else. Well, it turns out that an electric car uses several times as much copper as a combustion engineering car. So there's going to be huge demand for some of these metals that we didn't have before. And yes, it's at all-time highs now, but electric cars are just getting started. A lot of things are just getting started. If you know what you're doing and you can trade futures, please do it. But you're going to get very rich very fast. You might go broke this afternoon too, if you don't know what you're doing. Or if you know a company that's going to find silver in Berlin, you should buy all you can. If you know the right one, of course, you'll make huge amounts of money. But otherwise, I mean, physicals are a good way to play too. Futures, companies, if you know what you're doing. But there are many ways to play. But please don't do it if you don't know what you're doing. Best advice is don't listen to me. Stay with what you know. Everybody watching this knows a lot about something, whatever it is, cars, fashion, something. Stay with what you know. And then if something goes wrong, you know what to do. But if you listen to me and something goes wrong, you don't know what to do. Adam, if I told you you can only have 20 investments in your life, people would be very careful. They would invest in what they know and they would be successful. So my answer is stay with what you know. And if you don't know anything, put your money in the bank and wait until you find something that you know a lot about. Problem with putting your money in the bank is which currency. A lot of people put their money in Icelandic krona in 2007 because it's paying high interest. But then Iceland went bankrupt, and so they got wiped out. So it's not easy. I wish it were easy getting rich. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Oil is down over 50% from its all-time high, and known reserves continue to decline. They've been declining for a long time. Then along came fracking. Well, we had a wonderful bubble in fracking. If you could spell fracking, people would write you a check, say, please, invest. Then we all found out, oh, wait a minute, they got to pay their bills. They got to make money. So fracking is not going to disappear, but the bubble is over. And in the meantime, known reserves of energy everywhere in the world are in decline and have been continuing to decline. So yes, we're all going to have electric cars someday, apparently. Yes, we're all going to have solar panels. If we have electric cars, I've got some silver. I've got solar panels. I've got some silver. There are other ways to protect yourself. I own oil, natural gas, and coal. Well, uranium has been a disaster for a long time. And one of the things I've learned in my disasters, we've been talking about energy, known reserves declining. People are going to have electricity one way or the other. And I own uranium. But no, nuclear power is great if you do it right. And there haven't been that many nuclear power accidents in the past 50 years. There have been some, but no, that's why I own it. I'm not going to become a farmer, but if you like going out in the sun and being in the dirt, it'd be a fabulous way to make a living and get rich, because You know, Adam, the average age of farmers in America is now 58. In Japan, it's 66. I can go on, and the highest rate of suicide in the UK is in agriculture. Many Indian farmers have committed suicide. More people in America study public relations than study agriculture. We're running out, there's less and less competition. Unless we're going to stop wearing clothes and eating food, agriculture is going to get better. And I would expect farmers, as I say, if you really, really love it, go out there and buy yourself a farm and you'll get very, very, very rich. If not, buy futures, figure out your own way to do it. If you're going to invest, please start with ETFs, because that is a lot. Many studies have shown that the average of investing in the indexes outperforms nearly all investors. So unless you know a lot about cotton or whatever it is, please start with ETFs. Well, I want to repeat, just please don't do it in anything unless you yourself know what you're doing, because we're going to have a very difficult time sometime in the next 2-3 years, I don't know when it's coming. And you must be knowledgeable, and then you will get prepared. And because it's going to be very difficult, and many people will not survive. And I hope all of you who are going to get prepared, and I hope I survive too. I also want to say that please, I know we're all Americans, but please contemplate opportunities in other countries, because every one of us on this show, our forebears came from somewhere else and invested and made investments, diversified investments as far as nations are concerned. There are a lot of great opportunities in other countries if you know what you're doing, and it might be a very, very good insurance policy as well as a way to make money. So do not preclude investing elsewhere. I mean, Canada, for instance, it's not very far away, and they have got lots of natural resources. They've done a less bad job of running their economy than Washington has. That's just to give you, I'm not suggesting you rush out and invest in Canada, but I'm just using that as a simple example that when I say invest somewhere else, I'm not saying some exotic thing like, oh, you must invest in Zimbabwe. There are many places that are reasonable and you could understand. But I would suspect that you ask how to protect yourself. I would suggest that real assets, partly because they are still the only cheap asset, is a better place to be.